Most days in my life are completely forgettable. This is one of them. It's 6 p.m. in Vietnam. Work is over, and the streets are filling up with people heading home. Millions of people are doing the exact same thing right now. Leaving work, going home, getting ready to do it all over again tomorrow. Nothing interesting happened today. No adventure, no special plans, just another ordinary evening in Vietnam. Vietnam has changed a lot over the years. Not too long ago, the streets were much quieter than they are today. People mostly walked, rode bicycles, or traveled by motorbike. Things are very different now. As the economy has grown, more and more families have been able to afford cars. If you look around today, you'll see cars almost everywhere. The roads are busier, the cities are larger, and life moves much faster than it used to. I was fortunate enough to buy my own car a few years ago, something that once felt out of reach for many ordinary people. Right now, I'm in Bac Ninh province, where I live, located just outside Hanoi. Bac Ninh is home to some of the largest industrial zones in Vietnam. Many global companies have factories here, creating jobs for hundreds of thousands of workers. I have just finished a 9-hour shift at Samsung, and I'm now driving home. As we make this journey together, I'd like to show you a little bit of Vietnam. Not the Vietnam you see in travel advertisements, not the Vietnam most tourists experience, but the Vietnam where ordinary people work hard, commute home after long days, share meals with their families, and quietly build their lives. The Vietnam where I was born and raised. As I continue driving home, the view outside my window tells a story about modern Vietnam. When I was younger, places like this looked very different. There were fewer buildings, fewer factories, and far fewer cars on the road. Life seemed slower. The streets were quieter. People spent more time outside, talking to their neighbors, sitting in front of their homes, and enjoying the evening air. Back then, nobody could have imagined how quickly this country would change. Today, Vietnam is growing at a speed that still surprises me. Every year, new factories appear. New highways connect cities that once felt far apart. New apartment buildings rise into the sky. Where empty fields once stood, sometimes it feels like the entire country is under construction. Everywhere you look, something new is being built. A new road, a new bridge, a new neighborhood, a new opportunity. The road I'm driving on right now passes through two of the largest industrial zones in the country. Every evening, thousands of workers leave these factories at the same time. Some are riding motorbikes, some are driving cars, others are waiting for company buses to take them home. For many families, these factories represent something important. A stable income, a better future, a chance to give their children opportunities they never had themselves. As I sit in traffic, surrounded by headlights stretching into the distance, I sometimes think about how much has changed in just one generation. My parents grew up in a very different Vietnam. The Vietnam they knew was simpler, poorer, slower. The Vietnam I know today feels ambitious, busy, constantly moving forward. Of course, rapid growth brings challenges too. The roads are more crowded. The cities are noisier. Life often feels more stressful than before. But despite that, there is a feeling that many people here share. A feeling that tomorrow can be better than today. And perhaps that belief is one of the reasons Vietnam continues to grow so quickly. As the sun begins to disappear and the lights of the factories glow against the evening sky, I realize that this road home is more than just a daily commute. It's a journey through a country that is changing before my eyes, a country that has transformed dramatically within a single lifetime, and a country that I am proud to call home. This is Vietnam, not the Vietnam of postcards and tourist attractions, but the Vietnam of ordinary people. People who wake up early, work hard, take care of their families, and quietly help build the future of this country, one day at a time. Sometimes, while driving home after a long day, I find myself thinking about life. The road ahead is familiar. I've driven this same route hundreds of times before. The same factories, the same traffic lights, the same streets, and yet every day feels a little different. Maybe it's because I'm changing too. When I was younger, I always thought happiness was somewhere in the future. A better job, a bigger house, a newer car, more money, more success. I believed that once I reached those goals, life would finally feel complete. But as the years pass, I've started to realize something. Life isn't made up of big moments. Most of life is actually made up of ordinary evenings like this one. Driving home after work, watching the sunset through the windshield, listening to the sound of traffic around me, thinking about what to have for dinner, thinking about family, thinking about tomorrow. These moments seem small while we're living them, but one day, they become memories. One day, the roads we travel every evening may look completely different. The factories may change. The cities may grow. The people around us may move on. And we ourselves will change too. That's why I've started paying more attention to these ordinary days. Because deep down, I know they won't last forever. Maybe that's the strange thing about life. While we're living it, it often feels repetitive, sometimes even boring. But years later, those same moments become the ones we miss the most. The ordinary moments, the quiet moments, the moments we never thought were important. As I continue driving home through the lights of Bac Ninh, I realize that this is not just another evening. This is a small piece of my life. A life that may seem ordinary, but a life that I am grateful for. As I get closer to home, I start thinking about the people waiting for me. I got married when I was 33 years old. Some people marry earlier, some marry later. For me, it happened at exactly the right time. My wife grew up only about 500 meters from my house. It's funny when I think about it. For years, we lived so close to each other, yet neither of us knew what the future had planned. Today, she is the most important person in my life. Together, we are raising our first daughter, who is now 2 years old, and if everything goes well, in a few months we will welcome another little princess into our family. Right now, she is still growing safely inside her mother's womb. Only 14 weeks old, sometimes it feels unreal. A few years ago, I was only responsible for myself. Now, every decision I make affects the people I love most. I work at Samsung and earn around $1,000 a month. In some parts of the world, that may not sound like much, but here, it helps me support the family I care about. Of course, life isn't always easy. There are bills to pay, responsibilities to carry. And worries that never completely disappear. As a husband and a father, I often think about the future. I think about my daughters, the kind of life they will have, the opportunities they will receive, and whether I can give them a better life than the one I had growing up. Sometimes that pressure feels heavy, but whenever I see my daughters smile, everything becomes worth it. Because at the end of the day, success means different things to different people. Some people measure success with money, some with status, some with possessions. For me, success is much simpler. It's being able to return home safely every evening, to sit down for dinner with the people I love, to hear my daughter laughing in the next room, to watch my wife smile after a long day. We are not a wealthy family. We don't live a luxurious life, but we have something that I believe is far more valuable. We have each other. Our families are close. Both sides support one another. And no matter what challenges life brings, we know we are not facing them alone. As I drive through the final streets before reaching home, I realize something. I may not have everything I once dreamed of, but I already have many of the things that truly matter. And for that, I feel incredibly grateful. Just a few minutes from here is my wife's family home. I pass by it almost every day on my way back from work. Whenever I have some extra time, I usually stop by for a short visit, maybe to have a cup of tea, maybe to talk for a few minutes, or simply to see how everyone is doing. Family is important in Vietnam, and staying close to our parents is something many of us value deeply. But today, I think I'll head straight home. It's been a long day, and there's someone waiting for me. A little girl who always gets excited when she hears her father's car pulling into the driveway. And finally, I'm home. The noise of the traffic slowly fades away behind me. The factories, the highways, and the busy streets are now just part of today's journey. This neighborhood feels different. It's quieter, slower, more peaceful. As the evening settles in, children are playing outside, riding their bicycles, chasing each other through the small streets, and filling the air with laughter. It's one of my favorite parts of the day. After hours of work and crowded roads, coming back to a place like this always brings a sense of calm. And here it is, my home. A Japanese-style roof house. that I was finally able to build after many years of working and saving. It's not the biggest house, it's not the most luxurious house, but every brick, every wall, and every corner of this home represents years of effort, patience, and sacrifice. The challenges my family and I faced together, and the future we are building for our children. For many people, it may look like an ordinary house, but for me, it means much more than that. It means security. It means family. It means having a place where the people I love can feel safe, comfortable, and happy. And after a long day, there is no place I'd rather be. By the time I arrive home, it's almost 7 p.m. The sun has nearly disappeared, and the lights inside the houses around the neighborhood are beginning to glow. After spending the entire day surrounded by factories, highways, traffic, and deadlines, coming home always feels like stepping into a different world, a quieter world, a slower world, a place where nobody asks about work, targets, or schedules, a place where I can simply be myself. As I park my car and walk toward the front door, I can already feel the peace that this place brings me. Children are still playing outside. Neighbors are chatting with one another. The evening air feels calm and familiar, and most importantly, my family is here. In Vietnam, dinner is often the most important meal of the day, not because of what is served on the table, but because it is the moment when family members finally come together after a long day apart. In many Vietnamese families, dinner is much more than just a meal. It is a daily tradition that brings the family back together after a long day apart. While I am spending my day at work, my wife is taking care of many things at home. In the afternoon, she begins thinking about dinner. What should we eat tonight? Do we have enough ingredients? What would the children like to eat? These may seem like small things, but they are part of the quiet care that keeps a family together. She goes to the market, prepares the ingredients, washes the vegetables, cooks the rice, and spends time in the kitchen so that everything will be ready. When the family gathers in the evening, by the time I arrive home, the smell of freshly cooked food often fills the house. It's a smell that immediately makes me feel relaxed. A smell that reminds me that the workday is finally over and that I'm exactly where I belong. As the dishes are placed on the table, everyone slowly gathers together. Some have just returned from work. Some have just finished playing. Some have been waiting all evening for a little while. The worries of the day are put aside. Phones are set down. Televisions become background noise. And conversations begin. We talk about work. We talk about the children. We talk about simple things that happened during the day. Nothing extraordinary, yet somehow. These conversations become some of the most important moments in our lives. The food itself is usually simple. Rice, vegetables, soup, and a few home-cooked dishes. Nothing luxurious, nothing expensive. But when shared with family, it feels like more than enough. As I sit at the table, looking around at the people I love, I realize that happiness is often much simpler than we imagine. It isn't always found in success, money, or the things we buy. Sometimes happiness is simply coming home after a long day and seeing a warm meal prepared by someone who loves you. Seeing your family sitting around the same table, hearing laughter fill the room, and knowing that no matter what happens outside these walls, you are not facing life alone. For me, this is one of the most beautiful parts of Vietnamese family life. A simple dinner, a simple evening, but memories that will stay with us forever. Tonight, my wife prepared some of my favorite Vietnamese dishes. We have stir-fried bamboo shoots with garlic, bamboo shoot soup with pork trotters, pickled eggplants, mustard green soup, mango chicken salad, roasted chicken drumsticks, traditional Vietnamese pork sausage, and eggplant cooked with tofu. These are simple home-cooked meals that many Vietnamese families enjoy every day. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. After dinner, nobody rushes away. Like many Vietnamese families, everyone helps clean up together. One person clears the table, another washes the dishes, someone puts away the leftovers. Everyone does a small part, and before long, everything is clean again. It's a simple routine that we've followed for years. As the evening becomes quieter, the house fills with a different kind of energy. The children are playing. The adults are talking. Laughter comes and goes from different corners of the house. These are some of the moments I enjoy the most. There is nothing special happening. No celebrations, no big events, just a family spending time together. Later in the evening, it's time to help my little princess with her learning. At her age, the lessons are still very simple, but every day she discovers something new. A new word, a new number, a new question about the world around her. Sometimes she loses focus and wants to play instead. Sometimes she surprises us with how quickly she learns. As parents, we try our best to guide her, one small step at a time, while watching her learn and grow. I often think about how quickly children change. One day she was a baby in my arms. Today she is already exploring the world around her. And before I know it, she will be much older. The evening slowly comes to an end. Tomorrow will probably look very similar to today. I will wake up early, go to work, drive the same roads, and return home again. Some people might call this an ordinary life, maybe even a boring life. But when I look around, I see something different. I see a loving family, a warm meal, a peaceful home, and people who care for one another. Life doesn't always need to be exciting to be meaningful. Sometimes happiness is simply found in these small, ordinary moments. And this is what everyday life looks like for me in Vietnam. Simple, ordinary, but beautiful in its own way. Life doesn't always need to be exciting to be meaningful. Sometimes happiness is simply found in these small, ordinary moments.